How's it going, everyone? My name's Amber Torrealba, and I'm really excited to be here with you today, explaining a few of my favorite features and demos with Adobe Premiere Rush. If you haven't had the opportunity to download and try out Adobe Premiere Rush, I'm going to also offer you the link and everything that you need to get started today, whether you're on a mobile phone, and that could be Android, that could be iPhone, or it could be even using your computer or iPad. So let's get started, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can see and get right into all the good stuff. Covering today is mobile editing 101. One of my favorite subjects in general, just because of nowadays, especially with everybody kind of on the go, whether you are quarantined or just even around your house. A lot of times we can find ourselves on our phone because it's a lot easier. We have it in our hand, we have it in our pocket, and we have it on us. So this guide is basically going to teach anyone, from even if you're just started editing and you've maybe never even finished or exported your first edit before, to even if you're a professional editor and you're out there making videos for clients and you're out there making professional videos. Rush is also another strong tool for you to be able to start your video editing on the go and be able to transfer that to your computer later. And we'll talk in detail about that in the coming slides. So we'll go ahead and get started as far as my background and things like that, and basically where I've come from in my career of filmmaking and video and how I've discovered everything. Like I said, my name is Amber Torrealba. I'm a creative director, filmmaker, and world champion skimboarder. If you've never heard of skimboarding before, that's totally cool. You may be like raising an eyebrow to this. Skimboarding is just like surfing, but kind of a lot different as far as how you approach a wave. You're running from the sand and you're chasing a wave basically in the ocean and riding it without a fin. The crazy thing about this sport is it's so unique and it's not as big as surfing. So what that's allowed me to do is kind of create my own path in what I do. And some fun facts about me and the reason why skimboarding has somewhat kind of drived my filmmaking career is I started basically making films and basically editing on iPhones and GoPros when that was kind of coming more about and getting to be something that everybody was more into. I started picking up my iPhone and filming my skimboarding clips. I started getting out there and skateboarding and having just fun doing what I do, but capturing it every day. And what that kind of led me to do is find that passion in how iPhones or GoPros or any sort of camera gear that you have just around you to capture those moments, and how that can really enhance your storytelling, and how everybody has their own story to tell. And I was basically just starting to tell my story visually. So working in that corporate life that I started to pursue outside of college and outside of high school and things like that, I kind of started to feel like I was in those four walls, like a lot of people may possibly feel in their job, and they want to feel like they want to escape, or they want to try something new or pursue their passion. So that's exactly what I did essentially with skimboarding and filmmaking. Is I went full in. I started working my butt off basically behind the scenes when I was going to work 9 to 5, managing a Radio Shack store, coming home and just working all hours of the night into creating videos for clients that I would find, and just people that I could make videos for free, and just really perfecting my craft after college. So eventually I was able to go from doing these small little projects and social media posts and things like that to being able to do what I do now, which is making short films and longer piece projects and projects for a lot of really great like visions with companies that are in line with what I believe in and what I do. So I believe that everybody can find their start in filmmaking, even if you're just starting now, or if you're already way ahead into your career. It's just a lot of fun to be able to capture that story that you have going. So today we'll actually be jumping right into it as far as getting hands-on with actually editing. So if you don't have any let's say you don't have any clips right now that you feel like are worth editing, or if you don't have an idea of what you want to edit, feel free to just sit back and kind of watch what I do. I'm going to show you some of my clips that we're going to be working on today, and just some fun projects that will allow you to see all the great features that Adobe Premiere Rush has to offer when you're on the go and you're editing. So you'll be learning tips and tricks, shooting and setup, actually the editing process, everything from your timeline to your titles, audio, speed and effects, and color as well. And we'll get right into the way that you can share it onto your social channels. Here's a direct link. If you haven't had a chance to, you'll also find it on the bottom left-hand corner. If you want to minimize your viewing screen there, you'll see it right there in our platform, and you'll be able to download Adobe Premiere Rush right there on your phone. You can do it on your iPad, or you can do it on your computer. So if you want to work alongside of us today, if you are watching this and you have another type of device to work with, you'll be able to follow along and kind of make your own edit today. So I'll give you a chance to maybe screenshot that and hold it for later use or to download right now. Gonna switch it over in 3, 2, 1. Cool. And here's some system requirements just in case you wanted to make sure that everything's going to work properly with your actual device and things like that. So basically, use your iOS or your Android to download it from the App Store and get started on it right away. You'll be able to start editing on it for free. So the best thing about editing on the go is the turnaround time and opportunities. And that can be from anything from somebody's just like, hey, could you like put together a little vlog from your day real quick? This could be a company that you're working with. This could be a friend. This could be even an event that you went to that you thought was really fun. It could be a wedding, or it could be, just a get together or things like that. Obviously, a lot of us are quarantining right now. We're not getting, out there as much. But even if you went for a walk throughout the day and just wanted to get some fresh air, there's a way that you can basically start to plan your videos ahead of time and start working on them on your phone and being able to capture and turn things around a little quicker when you're able to edit on mobile. You're not bound to getting home to your computer. So it's one of my favorite things about editing on the go that allows me to kind of keep up with clients and keep up with just people in general in my life that I want to share. And that's really what it's all about, right? With editing and with videos and with our channels, is we really want to share our stories and put things out there as quick as possible, but also, in the way that you want it to be put out there. So editing before, you would always, if you wanted it to be polished, if you wanted it to be nice, you'd have to go back to that computer and back to that program that maybe you had to spend $1,000 on to, have the right tools, and things were just a lot more complicated before. We didn't have all the small, like, basically having a computer in our pockets, like having a mobile phone. So now we're able to get started on our projects and possibly even completely finish our projects start to finish right on our iPhones and right on our Android phones and iPads and everything like that. So using your downtime, like whether you're, waiting for something to load, or you're waiting for, you have your 15 minutes of a break, maybe you're working from home and you want to just, like for instance, what I did is I was working at my normal job, my corporate job, and I was editing when I got home. If Rush were around maybe 5, 6 years ago, I would have been able to take a break from work and right there, maybe head to my car or go on a walk, and I would have been able to edit on my phone. So that's the greatest thing about being able to edit on mobile, is you can really keep up with the trends. You can really be involved with what you're doing right here in the now, and being able to kind of be hands-on with whatever sort of media that you're looking at and consuming on your phone. So we're going to go ahead and actually get hands-on with it now. All the stuff, obviously, it's like important. Yeah, we want to get hands-on, we want to shoot and everything like that. So let's actually do it, and let's see how this works. So right here, I have on the right side of my screen, you guys will be able to follow along, and you'll see my actual iPhone here. As you can see, I have my projects laid out right here in Adobe Premiere Rush, and we're gonna just pop into a project as if we were kind of, going throughout our day and wanting to kind of get started on a video. And the first thing, like I mentioned before, and we asked ourselves is, did we even plan this video? Do we know what we even want to do? It's like, all right, cool, I want to put out some content and I want to make everybody stoked, but I don't even know where to start. Don't feel bad. That's exactly the way that I feel a lot of the times, even when I do know what I'm doing, because, you never really know what you want to like actually portray. Sometimes when you have this idea, it's just kind of hard to put it into visuals, but planning really does help in just having an idea. So what I would recommend and actually how to plan is just have an idea of maybe like a feeling that you want to portray, or actually an event that you want to cover, whether that be old footage or new footage. But being organized is the biggest thing to save time. And as you can see on our shooting and setup slide, we have an example of how you can create a project. You be able to add media or take a video directly on your Rush app. So for example, if we look over on our right hand side, I'll actually hop into a project right now. Before doing so, I have the plus sign on the bottom of the screen. And what that's going to allow me to do is actually add media or take a video or photo. If you already have your video planned out, let's say you did go on a walk and maybe you got footage of you walking out of your door, and then you got some cool scenes that were along the way. Maybe something funny happened, maybe just some vlogging, you talking to your camera, explaining your day. You can go ahead and click add media and you'll be able to add stuff that's already into your phone. When you click that there, you'll be able to see all of your local files, all of your cloud projects, and everything like that. For these purposes, just so I can show you how you can capture right on Rush, I'm going to actually open up the camera app because this is really cool. As you guys can see me here, basically, I'm going to flip this around just so you can see what we're working with here. The coolest thing about this is it adds extra features that your normal camera roll wouldn't have. So if we go over to the Pro side here, you'll be able to see different sort of features that a normal camera would have. You can change the ISO, the shutter, the exposure, different things like this to be able to kind of give it another sort of feel. So if we want to kind of give it like a darker feel, there's a lot of different ways that you can really take advantage of the camera that is in your phone. This is an iPhone in particular, so obviously maybe a little different looking with the Android depending on the sensor of your camera. But just keep that in mind because you can capture everything that you need to and change the frame rate so you can work with slow motion and things like that. So you'll be able to take a photo and it would add right into your camera roll. And as I'm taking multiple photos and recording video, as you can see on the bottom right hand side, right here, it's going to be showing you all of those media files and popping them right into a new project. So that's how fast you can just get started and get recording. For these purposes that we're actually showing a demo, I'm not going to edit these particular clips. Probably wouldn't be any fun for you to watch me edit the computer. So we'll go back to one of these projects that I've already started here. And we'll go ahead and get rid of this one. The coolest thing is that these projects are stored on your cloud. So if I started this project on my phone, I'd be able to finish this project on my computer or on my iPad or on another device that Adobe Rush is downloaded on. That's the biggest thing about editing on the go when you're working, even as first-time editor or even as an experienced editor. Starting your project right here and finishing it on another device or platform, maybe when you have more time, is a great way to get ahead and get started on your projects in any form, in any shape, because you have full advantage of different formats that you need. So a lot of us are sharing on social media. A lot of us are using Instagram. So you can see here that I'm able to change from square to Instagram format if we do story or if we do TikTok, and then YouTube and normal format like that. So the greatest thing about Rush is just the adaptability of all of these different features that are going to allow you to upload to your channel and really get things done. So this particular project was just a couple clips that I had already in my phone from a day in Laguna Beach. And what I've done is you can see the project layout here and the actual timeline. The timeline's great because you'll be able to see all the clips that you have right in an organized fashion of the time in the layout that they actually are in order. So this clip would come first, and this one second. And you'd be able to use your thumb to scroll along and use your fingers to see everything here. This is one of the first apps that I really love using the tracks, because you can see how everything's kind of organized for you here. We have titles on top, we have all of our clips on the bottom, and then we have sound below that. And this kind of allows you to look at your phone almost as you were looking at editing app on the computer. It's very much in line with the way that it feels to edit on a computer, and it kind of gives you all of those different features so you can not feel like you're limited, even though you are editing on such a small screen. So if we jump right into it, we want to get started on something like this. We can even add more titles. So what I've done is I've added a title here to explain that this is California. This particular title here was found at the bottom. If we click the titles portion, and I have a bunch of different titles that I'm able to choose from. And not only am I able to choose from titles that are built into the app, but custom titles that are basically designed purposefully for you to have that more animated feel, that more motion graphics feel. It's for you to have, if you're looking for cinematic types of formats with videos. And sorry if you hear my dog barking. That's a great thing about working from home. But basically, the videos here are able to be fully customizable from every portion of the edit. So if we click here, I'm able to change this format. Let's put California again. And I'm able to change the font. I can make it italic. I can make this bigger and smaller depending on how the size of it. Let's see. So you can really get a full range of whatever you're looking for. If I want to get creative and crazy, you can take it that far. So using titles is a great way to tell your story, even if you don't have an idea of it. If we go back to planning and explaining all of that, planning is something that, yes, it's hard, but you're not really able to plan absolutely everything if you already have footage and you want to work with what you already have. So basically with editing footage that you already have, you can create that story by using these tools like titles, using these tools like audio to be able to enhance your video or enhance your story, even after you've already captured it. So right here, these green bars, this is actually the audio. So you'll be able to take this audio and you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can move it on different tracks, so that way you can get exactly what you're looking for. For these purposes, I'll move the tracks so you can see more of the screen. And I'm able to move these audio tracks around wherever I like to fit exactly the feel that I want for the video. If you're seeing multiple audio tracks under here, what you're seeing is voiceover. I was adding voiceover just so I can show an extra audio track on top of this particular project. So let's say I wanted to explain Laguna Beach and I wanted to say, this is Laguna Beach, this is where I live, and things like that. That audio track file will live right there on top of the music. And it's cool because you're able to kind of explain your story throughout a video, even if you didn't capture that audio already. So don't feel like if you didn't capture audio, already on your clips, that you can't add it in later. That's exactly what I've done here, is taken that and added that audio in with a click of a button. So you can add it, 3, 2, 1. We can explain Laguna Beach, we can talk about it, and we can add that right there on top of our clip. And it's a great way to really continue that story and really tell what you're trying to portray in the visuals. For these purposes, we'll get rid of that particular audio clip. So if you made a mistake, go ahead and delete it. And if you didn't mean to make that mistake, right on the top, you can undo it with that button. So that undo button at the top there, you'll be able to actually go back and fix what you did if you did something wrong. And we'll go ahead and delete that again one more time. So what we've done here is basically added a few different layers to our timeline. We have our clips and we have everything like this. But really what we want to do is get more creative with how we actually can tell a story through, making sure with our planning, we plan out transitions and things like that, and possibly taking your video from one level to the next. It's like, okay, cool, I have a bunch of these clips and I'm just putting them together, but like, what does it really do? What does it really tell? So what we'll actually do is we'll cut to a video that I've already made so you can see one in motion. Even though you've seen a timeline here, you don't really get the feel of planning and making a video until we actually see it in action. So if you don't mind, we'll actually cut to the POV quarantine video that I recently made within the quarantine months. Okay, so we've had a little bit of skipping, possibly maybe on your end if you were watching that, and that's okay if if you're not seeing it in full quality. You're able to actually watch that video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Amber Torrealba. You can just search my name on either YouTube, Instagram, or I believe I have it on pretty much every platform if you find my name. So another thing that I'm trying to explain with this video, the moral of that is basically if you plan your transitions out, essentially, if I were to plan to kind of do a day in the life, for instance, is what you just saw. I've kind of planned each one of those clips out. I plan to kind of wake up and cover the screen, and then the next clip is revealing from a screen cover, and then the following clip is kind of leading on to that. And so by doing these things, we're able to kind of tell our story pre-planning before going into shooting. I'll show you what that actual project looks like in Brush, so that way you can get a better feel. So if we go in here, we see the project is actually, it seems pretty long, but if we kind of zoom in here, we can see each element of it. So this project here, I basically made sure, for instance, I'm just going to show an example of how I went from putting on my headphones, and this camera actually was in my mouth with a POV. It's called a MyGo mount for your GoPro. And that's how I was able to get this angle. So if you're looking for any mounts or just different creative things like that, I really recommend just getting creative with either your iPhone or your GoPro. And maybe, some people I've even seen it just like tape it to their head real quick. If you don't have an actual mount, sometimes it's sufficient, get crazy, get funky with it. But whatever gives you that result of getting that angle that you're looking for to kind of achieve that result. And that's what I did with this, is I had the GoPro in my mouth to get that angle of you kind of being me in this particular instance. And what I did here was I pretended like I was diving into my laptop, and all I did was take an old clip of me diving into the ocean with the same exact angle of point of view, and I clipped them together at the exact moment that it would be so quick that you're giving that viewer the illusion. So editing is all about the feel and all about what you want that other viewer to kind of experience. And I really wanted to take that viewer off, like kind of just take them off guard. Basically, with social media, everybody's got that like, attention span of, what if it's like 2 seconds, 5 seconds? It's like, how long do you have for somebody to before they scroll on your content? We're really trying to capture that content and capture that attention span of somebody. So things like this can really get people off guard and make them feel like, oh, wow, like this is like I haven't seen this before, like I wasn't expecting that. And little things in editing that you can kind of plan around. This will keep your audience super engaged when you're editing quick form content like this, whether it's even 15 seconds or even 2 minutes, 3 minutes for YouTube, depending on what your style is, even up to 15 minutes. Remember little things like this in between to really wake your audience up and catch them off guard. Find cool transitions to where maybe some things will look like they're actually, something else. And that's basically the style of editing that I've really loved to kind of capture. I'll show you one more other example of how I use this iPad here, where I'm editing on my iPad. But when I take it like that, I've actually recorded the same clip, and I'll show you basically how I actually did it. So I took this iPad here and I went like that, and I also took this particular clip, and I did the same motion. But when you clip them together, oh, just had a, sorry about that. Gotta love screen share for my phone on this. So basically, when you clip stuff together, that's when you just get that illusion of like, wow, like what the heck just happened? That's really the fun of it in it for me, is like if I can kind of make you like wonder something, how I created something. It's really cool because it's kind of like, encouraging your community to keep them on their toes. And that was the example that I kind of just showed you here of where this clips to that. And all I would need to do is just take it halfway, clip it, take it at the exact same moment, match it, and now you would not even be able to tell once I flip it that the iPad even became a notepad. And so this is just an example of one way to kind of think of your videos differently. Think of your transitions and think of just different ways to, like, you could be holding something. You could be looking up at one scene, when looking down and then looking up again, and you could show up somewhere else. And these are just different ways to kind of bring that attention to your audience in a whole new way. One of my favorite other features that we're going to get into really quick is auto reframe. And if we cut to the auto reframe example, actually, I'll show you before we get into motion on that. And what you're going to be seeing is basically the auto reframe being able to follow me while I have a full frame clip. So if we're looking at a clip that's wide and full wide motion, we're going to have to really break that down, and it would be like multiple different edits to really bring that into an Instagram story or bring that into Instagram format. So what auto reframe does is it does it for you, and it saves so much time, especially on a clip like that. So here's an example of a clip that I've auto reframed. So this clip is actually full widescreen. So if we look here, it's 16:9, and it's just me skimboarding. Now, I don't need it in that format, especially for Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in 4:5, like I want to post it on Instagram. It's automatically going to resize that for me. And now I can make it follow me by going to the effects panel, going to motion, and adding auto reframe. It's going to just take a moment. It's going to read everything. So basically, what it's doing is it's smart enough to kind of choose me and follow me and actually be able to keep me in the center the whole time. So now we have this track where I'm like going this way, that way. If your camera person is like not able to follow you properly, it will automatically follow you. Here's another example that's really fun. So if we take auto reframe off of this drone clip, for instance, it's full screen, and we watch here. So I'm going to have it actually follow me. by first changing it to story mode. So let's post it on our story. And we're going to add this. Boom. It's found me and it's able to actually follow me as I skateboard. Now you may see a little bit of skipping in the playback, but you kind of get the idea of how it's still able to find the subject and follow it. It's really amazing to for a program like this to be able to kind of take all that time out for you to have to like cut it up and like film it right, and it can be very time consuming. So this is a feature that just wipes out so much time for you to have to be able to do that yourself. This will do it right there for you. And what I've added here is these are just photos. These are some photos that I've taken since quarantine. You know, we have me in a mask here on the beach, just some like reality stuff. And basically, what I was able to do was add a pan and zoom effect. So that way these photos can come to life. And that's in our effects panel as well. So if we go to effects, I have this pan and zoom feature. If I turn that off, it's just a photo static. It's kind of boring. It doesn't really fit into my story, right? If I were to be at the beach and I'm like, okay, well, I'm at Laguna Beach. I've been skimboarding, I've been skateboarding today, and here's a shot that I took. Well, cool. It's a cool shot, but it kind of stops the flow and stops the motion if there's of your video if the photo itself doesn't have motion. And that's when pan and zoom really comes into handy, because we're able to click that and it's going to be zooming in to our photo slowly. And it gives like a nice slow motion of it actually panning and zooming in to our photo. Keep in mind, we can actually take this and we have our transform panel down here where we can change anything that we need. But the best thing about it is just using your fingers here to move it the way you want it. So anything that you need along your project, keep that in mind, that you're able to just do little swaps like this and actually be able to take the transform tool, and I can even crop the bottom of this if I wanted to. And I can show two different. I could move it, and I could actually take both of these. So there's different ways to tell your story depending on how you want to actually do it. Another example of this is being able to use two different types of scaling and two different types of formats for showing behind the scenes types of videos. That's a really great way to actually tell your story as well. Whether you've been filming for something funny all day and you have another friend that's filming with you, it's really cool to be able to show actually some behind the scenes footage of what you've been doing by having your screen split up that way. And I'll give you one example of how that's done right here with skimboarding. So if I have this video here of me flipping upside down in the air, you get to see the behind the scenes of how it was actually filmed. And this was actually my boyfriend Patty getting smashed in the face by filming this. So it's really fun to like put these things together and be able to tell your story of how, okay, well, now I'm able to see this along with the behind the scenes by going here and actually cropping out or cropping the top, being able to see what we're working with. But we don't even have to do it at the top, because we can go right here and we can see it from the left or we can see it from the right. And we're able to show both ways of how that's created. So different things like this are just ways that you can tell your story and get the picture that you're trying to portray out there, whether that be anything from like my style, where I'm doing a lot of lifestyle stuff out on the beach and kind of really trying to tell my story throughout my day to day and just what interests me and my passions. But a lot of people can really find a way to use this for your brand. You can use this for teasers and different types of stories that you're trying to recreate and retell, or anything from tutorials and things like that. This is actually an example of a timeline from a tutorial that I created for TikTok, where I was able to create a looping video. And you could go here and you can see how I've clipped two clips together to throw sunglasses back to myself. And that's just the front of a video connected to the back of a video, just like that. So these are just examples of how you can really start to play around with your content and get creative on how maybe you can create a loop in your video, or maybe how you can take different types of your story and add to it with these different types of effects and different types of titles, and really make it come to life. The last thing that you want to do before you polish it up is, of course, color correct it, because nothing's going to be the same and it's going to pop without color, right? So real quick, we're going to pop into that, and then we're going to get to some questions, if you have any, for the last 5 minutes of our workshop here. So if we have this clip, we'll just go right to the bottom, and we have tons and tons of options of color that you'll be able to actually customize, and you'll be able to save as a preset, which is really fun. Because if I have this here, and I want to make that nice and cinematic, kind of adjust it like that, I can go back. I can even add some more saturation if I want. Maybe cut back on the highlights or boost them. And then I can go right here and I can create a preset. So creating presets allows you to save more time, to where I do not have to go in to every clip and color correct it individually. On each level, I can actually choose my preset for the next color correction and add that right onto there after I've created it. So that's a really great way to save some time and actually get your video projects done, get them started, and get them going. Now that you have a video project completed, let's just say you put together, your day in the life, and you've put together a couple clips, you've added some titles, you've added some audio at the bottom. This audio can even be messed with even more. It can be expanded. So keep in mind, things like this are just more different tools for you to be able to see your project in full and be able to edit with all these features right here on mobile. The next thing that you would want to do is go at the top of the bar on the right hand side, and you'll be able to share. Sharing these types of projects usually would be something that you would have to kind of upload to your computer and then airdrop to yourself, or send it to yourself in a Dropbox and things like that. So what Rush has done is kind of cut out all these different options for you, and it's allowed you to directly share it to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Behance. As you can see on the left hand side here, we'll have all those options for you as well, and you can export them in, like I mentioned, story mode. You can export them in Instagram mode, YouTube mode, anything that you like to really fit and get your different videos out there for different channels, because it's most important to be able to deliver the content that you're giving to your audience in the format that they're viewing it, because they're most of the time going to want to see an Instagram story in vertical mode, not in horizontal mode, because that's the native way that they're opening their phone, and they probably don't want to turn their phone sideways on an Instagram story. We all know how much of a pet peeve that can be. So keep that in mind, and you can definitely kind of change your projects and import them in different ways to be able to fit your audience and really make them enjoy your content. And there it is. It's ready to share. It's saved to the camera roll, and we'll be able to upload those right to our channels. And if you don't mind, if depending on when you get a chance to open Rush and try it out and possibly even start messing with some titles, you'll be able to download exclusive free motion graphics templates that we've actually made for you as well. And you can see the link there that you'll be able to reach it. And we'd love for you to fill out a survey, which would give you a chance to win a free year membership of Adobe Creative Cloud, which is amazing. It has all the different features to be able to take this project and bring it into the next step, which is Adobe Premiere Pro. And you could actually use tons and tons of other features that get more advanced and more pro in that format. And if you are an advanced editor and you're a professional, you know just how important it is for certain features to be used in Adobe Premiere Pro. And the greatest thing is you can get your project started on Rush, save yourself some time, and take it right into Adobe Premiere Pro after this. And I'll run it back to you guys for any questions. Yeah, so the greatest thing about Premiere Pro files and editing them in Adobe Premiere Rush, you can't take the actual project, but any of those certain files that you're actually working on in Adobe Premiere Pro, let's say you don't want to actually edit the whole project on your computer, you'll be able to take those files, put them and store them in an organized fashion, possibly on Dropbox or on your files in your iCloud, and you'll be able to upload them right into Adobe Premiere Rush and be able to use them to start editing and get started on that project before bringing them right into Premiere Pro. The project transfers from Rush to Premiere Pro, but it doesn't transfer from Premiere Pro back to Rush. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send them off too. We got a couple more minutes and let's see what we can kind of knock out from there. Go ahead and also screen capture these links when you have a chance as well. And I'm going to cut back to
Great. Hello. Nice to meet you.
too.
I was gonna ask, do you know if Adobe Premiere Rush has like a masking?
So Adobe Premiere Rush doesn't have the masking feature, but the great thing is if you start everything that you need before masking in Adobe Premiere Rush, you can actually upload that project right into Adobe Premiere Pro. There's a button and then it will say Open Adobe Premiere Rush Project right in Premiere Pro. You can open it right in there, and then that's where you can do all your keyframing and masking and stuff like that.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries. Nice to meet you. All right, yeah, it's pretty fun to kind of do those masking features and stuff too in Adobe Premiere Pro. So definitely challenge your videos and take them to the next level. What do you think is the best feature of Adobe Premiere Rush? So my favorite feature is honestly these new features that are coming. I really, really love this auto reframe feature and this feature that the transforming features that really allow you to take your projects and share them on different social media channels by changing their formats. The biggest thing that has saved me time is me being able to make one video in full wide version and being able to duplicate a project into Adobe Premiere Rush. And that way I have two of those same projects. And then now I can take that one project and change the format to be able to fit vertical, Instagram, possibly square, and wide. So that just saves me a ton of time to be able to even edit an old project, possibly bring that MP4 format in there and even rechange it as well. So definitely using these types of features for on a phone it's just been so much time that has been saved for putting out the type of message that you need to put out to your audience on so many different platforms. It's almost like, it's not to say that different social media channels speak different languages, but it kind of is in a sense, to where we want to make sure we're speaking that language to each platform and really being native with our audience to give them the best experience. So, and if you have any other questions, feel free to throw them in, and we might have another minute or so. Let's see. And yeah, that'll be the last one actually. So it's been really great to talk with you guys and basically show you my workflow, show you a couple demos of what I do for Adobe Premiere Rush and how I take my editing to the next level by making sure that I start on my phone and I basically get everything settled in there, whether I'm editing a professional project or whether I'm editing a short form project for social media. It's so great to be able to use my phone for everything that I need to be able to get the work done and get these projects done. So once again, if you have a chance, complete the survey. You'll see the button on the bottom left-hand corner. And I thank you guys so much for joining. If you want to keep the chat going, there's also a conversation going on Discord, so make sure you check that out as well. And I appreciate your time and for taking this opportunity to do this workshop with me. Thanks again, and you have a good one. This has been Amber Torrealba. Take it easy.